Maybe tonight's the night. Maybe it's going to happen tonight. The Tin Caps actually can score a run in this series against West Michigan because so far, 2 games into the 6 game series, and the Tin Caps have this many runs. Shutout on Tuesday, 3-0. Shutout on Wednesday, 7-0. And now tonight, it is a thirsty Thursday at the ballpark. Tin Caps will try to get their first run. It is also the final night for a legendary broadcaster. In fact, I think Zach Groth called him the voice of Fort Wayne sports. That's what I heard. I don't know, just listening to what people are saying. But we'll talk a little bit about tonight's festivities downtown. Also, Pacers, they've got a long rest, and I'm a little worried that the rest could turn into rust because it is a long layoff now that the Celtics routed the New York Knicks and have forced this series to go at least 6 games. That means the default date to start the series in the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be Wednesday, May 21st. And the Pacers are going to have over 1 week off. Now, I know that's great to get some rest, but you have to be concerned. NBA players do not have weeks off during their NBA season. It's highly unusual. I think 3 or 4 days is perfect. I think 7, 8, or 9 days is way too much. I'm concerned the Pacers are going to be overly rested and maybe not be quite as sharp. But they could take on a team that's on the totally opposite side of the spectrum if the Celtics find a way to win in New York City against the Knicks coming up tomorrow night. Pacers fans, you got to hope that's what happens. Otherwise, the Knicks will have just a perfect amount of rest. They'll play on Friday night and then open the next series on Wednesday. That means you get Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 4 days of rest, rehabilitation, and ready to go, while the Pacers will have that long layoff and have to go on the road to open things up at Madison Square Garden. That's if the Knicks win this series, and if the Knicks win the series in 6 games, which they've got that opportunity coming up tomorrow night. Pacers already wrapped up their series against Cleveland in only 5 games. And I found this stat kind of interesting. Among all the teams still remaining in the playoffs, the Pacers are the top scoring team. That's not unusual. They also have a ton of assists, and Tyrese Halliburton is leading all playoff performers in assists per game. I don't think that's the big shock either. But what was kind of interesting is the Pacers, not only the top scoring team in the playoffs, but they are also their top scorer is 23rd among all NBA playoff individuals, playoff players. Pascal Siakam is 23rd in the list of highest scoring individual players in the playoffs. That's because the Pacers are so balanced. They don't need that individual that goes for really big numbers. And that's one thing that makes the Pacers, I think, so dangerous is they have tremendous depth. But it's not just depth as far as players that can come on the floor and be role players. They've got depth with players that can take over games and maybe even win you games. I mean, Andrew Nembhard, he's up, he's down. But I'll tell you what, he is one tough competitor. I mean, that guy has a way of hitting big buckets at big moments, and he did it again in the series clincher against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Miles Turner hit a huge 3 from the corner, and having a center that can stretch the defense and pull the 5-man outside to leave the rim protection gone, that's a big factor as well. But the Pacers, they'll have some rest, and so this weekend, all eyes on Indiana basketball will be on the women as the Fever start their season against the Chicago Sky. Man, I feel like a goofball because last night, I don't know why, I said the Chicago Sky Force. It's like a flashback to the G League days with the Sioux Falls Sky Force. I don't know. I mean, go ahead, make fun of me behind my back, whatever you want to do. It's the Chicago Sky. I know it's the Chicago Sky. Thank goodness I didn't throw that out there on a Thursday where you've got tons of people that watch it. It was buried on the stream. Yeah, Fever are going to be opening up their season against the Skyforce. What a bonehead. And you know what's funny is I didn't catch myself. I said it and I was thinking about, what point I was making and just never even realized it until someone brought it to my attention today. I went back and looked at the tape and sure enough, there I am, big bozo, saying the Chicago Sky Force. But it's the Fever and the Chicago Sky, and should be a fun game to get the season started, rivalry game. Speaking of getting the season started, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts schedule because the NFL announced it yesterday. The Colts decided to do it with a video and then found out from Microsoft that wasn't really a good idea, violating some copyright issues. And now a lot of people thought it was the situation over Tyreek Hill and whether or not he was offended, whether it was offensive in general. But, the Colts put a little cute thing when they opened the season against the Dolphins with the Coast Guard arresting Tyreek Hill out in the ocean, Tyreek Hill looking like some type of dolphin. It was a whole bit on Minecraft. They played it off Minecraft. And, and anyway, it was pulled. It only lasted an hour or two out there, and it was gone. But a lot of people took screenshots and they posted it. But the Indianapolis Colts announced their schedule, and so now we know, and we've always known the who. It was the question of the what dates and all of that. So the Colts have announced their schedule. Here's a few notes as far as who the Colts are going to play and where they will play them. First of all, the Colts start out with back-to-back home games to start the season. I find that kind of fascinating. I mean, I think the NFL is doing everything they can to try to get the Colts a win in week one because it seems like every single year the Colts lose their opener. This year they'll have Miami at Lucas Oil Stadium, and then they'll follow it up with Denver coming into town. So back-to-back home games to start it off for the Colts. Then they have back-to-back on the road going down to Nashville to take on Tennessee. That shouldn't be a game that scares the Colts. And then the Colts have to go, and I think this is the most challenging game of the first four that they've got, and that is a road trip to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, anytime you take on a quarterback like Matt Stafford, you have to be somewhat concerned. And then the Colts return home to take on the Las Vegas Raiders, followed by the Arizona Cardinals. I think it gives the Colts a tremendous opportunity to get off to a very significant start, and I don't think the schedule's all that difficult. I mean, middle of the season, they do go to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, but still don't know exactly who the Pittsburgh quarterback is going to be. They'll have the Chargers out in LA. That'll be a challenge. Then they have Atlanta in the game that'll take place over in Europe, in Germany. And they follow that up with a bye week, but then they go to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs will be at Denver the week before. And so it's like, well, the Chiefs don't have the easiest game the week before they take on the Colts. And the Colts have a bye week leading into the Kansas City game. Then the Colts have Houston at home, at Jacksonville, at Seattle. They'll take on San Francisco and Jacksonville at home before finishing the season at the Houston Texans. I don't think it's a terrible schedule. You got the bye in week 11, which I think is a pretty good placement for the bye. It comes in the week after the Colts have to go over and take on the Atlanta Falcons in Berlin. But I think it's a schedule that should get the Colts to around 500. The biggest question is going to be who is quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts? 1, starting the season. 2, mid-season. And 3, who finishes the season. You really don't want to have questions at quarterback because that's usually a sign that you have weakness at that position. And I think that might be the case with the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know if they've got such a strong quarterback that they feel confident that that guy's going to be the starter at the beginning, the middle, and the end. But what do you think? You can always leave a comment to the video. And while you're doing that, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share the channel. We're trying to grow and pick up some new subscribers, maybe an extra view or two. And we'd appreciate you helping us out. It's not like we have this huge promotional budget, so we kind of count on you that already are watching and listening to maybe hit the share button and send it out on your social media and let people know the Sports Rush does exist. It is out here on the social media platform of your choosing, primarily on YouTube. And of course, on Saturdays, we try to do a live show for you. So, plenty of clips, plenty of highlights, plenty of shorts, plenty of videos, and of course, the live show. The Sports Rush did not just get canned. You can take it off the radio, but you can't cancel the show. And so the Sports Rush is still live on YouTube. Be sure to check it out and help us share the word that we are out here, because a lot of people still don't know how to find us, and all they're doing is still complaining about what replaced us on the radio. So the easy thing to do is let them know, hey, stop your complaining. Just spend that time, positive energy, and watch the Sports Rush on YouTube. All right, so tonight it is the Tin Caps, and it is the final official broadcast for John Nolan. Now, people in Fort Wayne can watch it on my TV, but John Nolan's been around for 12 years, has done a great job broadcasting local sports in this community. But you also cannot blame him for taking that next step and giant leap to become the radio play-by-play voice of the Indiana Fever. You get in early in Caitlin Clark's career. You've probably got a good decade or better where Caitlin Clark is going to be the star performer for the Fever. And I think that we'll play for championships almost every one of the years that she is wearing a Fever uniform, including this year. So it's going to be exciting. He's going to have a chance to see a lot of wins. He's going to have a chance to broadcast from big arenas, because most of the Fever opponents have moved road games into the larger arenas in their cities and communities. It's just a great time to get that gig. And so congratulations to John Nolan. I know I'm a little disappointed tonight. His final broadcast, I won't be there in the booth with him like I have been almost 50 home games a year over the last few years. But Josh Van Meter, a former Tin Cap, former major leaguer, he actually is going to make a rare appearance in the booth alongside John for John's final broadcast. And then I'll be on radio coming up tomorrow night with Mike Maz on 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM, while Justin Leiby takes the seat next to Jaden Taylor, who is taking over for John Nolan as a play-by-play voice. Hoping I get a shot at getting back to play-by-play. Had to pass that off to John when John was trying to get a little bigger gig. But hopefully now that we're kind of back to normal, I can get back on the call on the TV side for you. But anyway, best of luck to the Tin Caps this weekend. I hope to see you out at the ballpark. And, we're all right now here in Indiana. We are Celtics fans, at least until Game 7. Then you can pick your side, whether you want the Celtics and get a rematch against the Celtics from a year ago, or whether you want the Knicks this time with a healthy roster and perhaps a little bit of a changed and improved roster from a year ago. I ultimately think at this point it looks more and more likely that the Pacers will be in good shape no matter who they play in the Eastern Conference Finals. I like the matchup against the Knicks, and the Celtics, obviously, without Jason Tatum. I think that's still difficult to win 4 games out of 7 without your superstar player. All right, have a great Thursday night. And tomorrow, Friday. Hey, we're all excited about Friday. Always enjoy Fridays. But have a great Thursday night. Enjoy Thirsty Thursday at the ballpark. We'll talk to you again soon.